Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my annual presentation on SAP's mid-market portfolio. My name is Rainer Zino, part of the larger S4 product management organization. And let me share with you what we've accomplished in 2024 and what we intend to do in 2025. That said, a quick look at the disclaimer chart. Obviously, what I'm presenting to you today is our current state of planning, but you know, our industry, things may change. Therefore, please follow all of my colleagues, Peter, Dominik, Christoph Schneider, Krishna, and all of the others to always get the latest update on what we are doing. Some of the partners came back to me and said, Rainer, thanks a lot for the videos from last year. I did a dedicated one on business by design and so on and so on. And they said, hey, can't you just do it in one? Therefore, I said, okay, I follow your advice. You see the agenda here for this presentation, about 40 slides. When I did the dry run yesterday, it took me about 30 minutes. So fasten your seatbelts and let's go. And let's start off with SAP Business One. And SAP Business One is an absolute miracle. 80,000 customers. Many analysts said, hey, these kind of solutions will die very fast now. Complete nonsense. This solution is stronger than ever, and I'm really happy about what the partner ecosystem does for Business One. And it's specifically a big thank you to, for example, the Linked World organizations with Werner Hölzel and Mike Lu and all of the others who come together and who constantly talk to us, who send letters to us, and who really give us the guidance also that we need. And when we are talking about what we plan to do in 2025 regarding the web client, honestly, I wouldn't have gotten the budget without your support to do that. So a big thank you from my side to really drive our Business One business forward into the future. And I'm always the one who stands on stage and says, be one forever. But I think it's very important for you to also hear it from Thomas Sauer, our executive board member, his perspective on Business One, the investments. And I'm really grateful that Thomas took the time to sit down, also attend the meetings with the partners, get their perspective, and then help us to get the budget to drive the Business One development forward. When you would look back at my presentation last year, you would see that something slightly changed in the Business One world. I wanted to have done more Business One web client content by now. But again, the partners came back and said, Rainer, the important thing about Business One are the partner extensions. So before delivering a complete web client, please enable us to transition our existing extensions from Business One to the B1 web client. Therefore, for me, the most important deliverable in 2024 was the web client extensibility so that my partners can start working on building their extensions, which they would like to position in Business One. So the first ones are doing it already and providing us with feedback. If you haven't started, please do so now, because that will be the key thing. Here you see the plan for 2025 around the web client. My hope would be that by end of 2025, all of my partners can do all of their customer-facing presentations in the web client exclusively, because then the customer fully operates Business One through the browser. The partner is in charge of managing all of the infrastructure, all of the software, and we have a really attractive subscription billing. Therefore, this is then the great cloud solution that I really wanted to have for the years to come. The cadence will be the same, so we will have feature packs and support packs. In the feature packs, we ship the net new capabilities. So the next one is 2502, so February of 2025, then a mid-year release in August, and then I would hope that we are done with the B1 web client around 2602. We've started gathering feedback on what should be in B111. So you can see we have a really long perspective that we are planning for Business One. And as said, I'm really grateful for all of the support from the customers and the partners that we are receiving. Business by Design. We had, again, an amazing year 2024. The numbers which you see on the slide are from October 2024. We are in Q4, therefore I can't disclose the numbers for the full year of 2024. But you can see already in Q3 we have a 10% annual growth when I go by the number of companies using Business by Design. The number that always astonishes me is the number of web service calls against the ByDesign infrastructure, 476 million per month. So you see that Business by Design is tightly integrated in your landscapes, and you see what you can do with such a solution. When I look at Business by Design as a whole, you know my story that I say the key thing for me is to always understand what is the longest running contract that I have in my books. And that is currently until middle of 2031, so roughly 7 years into the future. And I need to make sure that we are doing all and everything that we reach that date. Therefore, the first dimension always is, are we good enough from a scope perspective? Okay, if you're working on a product for 20 years, you should have your scope under control. Therefore, we have the end-to-end business processes in Business by Design that I wanted to see. And two things are important. Number one, we are developing net new business processes like carbon footprint management, like the preparation for the era of the digital currency. We are not doing that within the kernel of Business One, Business by Design, or S4. No, we are building these net new business processes on the business technology platform. More about that in a few minutes. But what we do in Business by Design, we do everything that we need to do to keep the product legally compliant, that we meet all of the SAP product standards, specifically also the security standards, that we support our partners with fast implementation templates, that we even further lower the time to implement such a system, and that we help them to build side-by-side extensions on the business technology platform. And if partners need additional APIs, hey, just inform us. We are really happy to provide you those APIs. We can't close 2024 without talking once again about the topic of artificial intelligence. And I read quite a few articles who say, this is the next death of artificial intelligence. Nonsense. Artificial intelligence will stay with us, and if you see what is possible today with large language models, with all of the other dimensions, then really let's get our hands around it. We've started that journey many years ago with document recognition capabilities, when Simona Marinche and her team really started to exploit the capabilities of SAP's own foundational model to recognize, for example, supplier invoices. We then worked on the topic of process automation. The next topic was that we really made machine learning usable. We have all of these huge data lakes in Business by Design, so let's use them and really drive the best decision making. If you would like to see more details, look at my last year's presentation where I had a demo included. The next step now is to really say, okay, in the era of ChatGPT and the other large language models, what can we do with the user interface? How can we use prompting to simply ask the system, do this for me, explain this to me, and so on and so on. And again, here I've decided to partner. A dear colleague of mine, Geraldine McBride, our former president of SAP Americas, built her own company to specifically work on that topic, mywave.ai, and I'm massively oversimplifying what Amy and her team and Geraldine are doing is when I say they add a chatbot capability to Business One, to Business by Design. Those of you who were with us at the summits earlier this year, you saw Geraldine and me on stage presenting to you what we can do. And I'm very happy to announce that this capability now is also available for Business by Design. Geraldine sent me a note yesterday, so thanks for that. In a nutshell, what can you do? Take a typical activity that happens every day. Your organization wants to create a new customer master record. The way how you do that in Business by Design. You enter the information, but then you branch off to other websites to collect additional information, maybe about credit worthiness, and so on and so on. So it's a constant forth and back between ByDesign and other systems. Then I've seen companies who take screenshots and put all of these screenshots together in an email, send it out to the decision maker, and then wait and finally finish this process. You can do the same thing in a chatbot environment. And the system will prompt you on the few information that it needs to have, and then the system will branch out to all of the other systems, collect the information, summarize it nicely, thanks to the large language model. And if you say, yep, good enough, then the system will automatically create the new business partner for you in Business by Design. So I'm really grateful that we have this partnership with MyWave and that we have something to offer in the era of agentic AI for Business One, for Business by Design. Next dimension is organization, and you heard me already talking about it last year. We basically took a very experienced team of ByDesign developers and kept them where we are, and then we added 160 new colleagues, and we are doing that together with HCL. It's an extended workbench concept, so no changes to the contracts or support obligations, whatever you name it. And when I recorded this video last year, I said, hey, we are on a great path, but I admit that regarding the number of incidents, we have too many open incidents. This year, and normally we don't disclose these numbers, but I wanted to share them with you. You see that we have an incident backlog, which is the number of open incidents, roughly of 200 incidents at the moment. And you see the second number, the 300, was the number when we did development support. So we are now below the level where we were when only SAP was in charge of that function. And that speaks to the amazing work that my colleagues are at HCL together with the ByDesign governance team under the leadership of Krishnana Pati are doing. And I'm really grateful for that amazing work. You see the composition of very high and high incidents. Obviously, I always want this number to be as low as possible. We are currently at 105, coming from 150. So I'm very happy with that number too. And incidents older than 60 days, those ones were really difficult to identify what the root cause is. Currently, we are down to 24. So I'm really happy about these numbers and that we are really in a good state by now. The topic of infrastructure is an ongoing one. You know that we replaced the entire infrastructure underneath ByDesign a couple of years ago. So we are good to go for the era of the hyperscalers. What we focused on this year was really the transition to S4. I have a number of ByDesign customers who really outgrew ByDesign. When they picked ByDesign, perfect match, but now they are simply so large when it comes to the number of transaction volumes and so on, that the path to S4 is better. So what do we do to support these kind of customers and their partners? And there, Markus Uhlig and his team is doing a great job. We are helping them to compare Business by Design with S4HANA Public Cloud. We are helping them to choose the scoping items to get to the business capabilities that they need. We provide mapping for business objects from ByDesign to S4, around about 60 objects, so you can export the data from business ByDesign and convert it and import it on the S4 side. We invented one more topic, the so-called archive tenant. A lot of companies, from my perspective, spend too much time to transition data over. I would keep that to a minimum and rather use the offering of the archive tenant. The archive tenant is a copy of your production tenant, but in read-only mode. So should you ever need to go back to your business ByDesign system, you can do it at any point in time if you have a review or whatsoever. Therefore, we offer here a contract duration of up to 10 years so that you always have your legacy data also at your fingertips. One customer who has very successfully transitioned from business ByDesign to S4 is Felina. You saw the CIO with me on stage at the summits. Here is the QR code to a podcast which he recently recorded together with Raphael Fink from my partner Snap, who supported Felina. Really interesting learnings on their way. They are now live for a bit more than half a year, and I'm not giving away a secret that they are a really happy customer on S4 now. Now let's talk about our flagship product, S4HANA. We have the Grow package, which is predominantly for net new mid-market customers going into cloud ERP. And I've chosen a couple of slides to simply summarize many of the discussions I and some of my colleagues had during the course of this year. I'm really excited about the user interface of S4 and also the mobile capabilities of S4. If I remember back how much you had to know before you could use an SAP system in the past, this has really changed a lot and will change even more with artificial capabilities. So when it comes to the user interface, we really have a great experience. But this is just a snapshot. I believe that we will see a lot of changes in the next couple of years, as I said, because of the capabilities of artificial intelligence. In SAP, we are introducing the co-pilot called Joule, and Joule leverages business technology platform capabilities, the so-called AI hub, and introduces it into each and every application that we have. The big advantage for you is you don't need to worry about whose large language model is best suited for this or that. This is something that we abstract for you, and we have the relationship with all of the leading AI providers. And what we can predict already today from the first customers who are using Joule today, that they will have massive time savings. And specifically, if again, I think back when I started in SAP 34 years ago in R2, I could stare for hours at the so-called OK code field. If I wouldn't have my card with all of the transaction codes, or I wouldn't know the transaction codes by heart, no chance to operate the system. In a Joule world, I simply tell the system that I'm searching for certain information, that I want to create an order, that I want to do this and this. So we are introducing artificial intelligence capabilities, be it these kind of chat-like capabilities, be it machine learning capabilities, document recognition capabilities, process automation capabilities, all over S4, and that really gives you the strategic advantage that you would like to see from an S4 perspective. When I prepared this video, I also talked to some of my friends and specifically to Richard Nachel, our black belt in Europe when it comes to S4 pre-sales. And I said, what are the misconceptions that you hear? And Richard said, one of the misconceptions is that S/4HANA is only a solution for service companies. Therefore, I picked this slide here, which illustrates a little bit the manufacturing and the supply chain side of the house. And I met quite a number of customers who said, S/4HANA Public Cloud includes so many capabilities for the product-centric side of the house that they say, hey, SAP, why don't you talk more about that? Yes, we come from the service-centric side, but we have amazing capabilities and nobody is coming close to what we can do in supply chain, manufacturing, and logistics in general. That said, the next step will be that we double down, and there we are going back to the SAP roots on industry-specific capabilities. Be it the services industry, be it the public sector, be it the certain selected industries, we will add more and more of the capabilities that are unique in that industry into S/4HANA Public Cloud. One more topic that I really want to discuss with you. For heaven's sake, don't implement S/4HANA Public with an SAP ECC or R3 mindset. S/4HANA comes with a built-in implementation methodology. We've optimized it for a lean implementation project. There's no need at all for a 9-month pre-project with blueprinting and whatsoever. This was a best business practice 15 years ago. Today, it would be a disaster. Why am I saying this? We have invested, besides all of these amazing capabilities and architecture, we've invested millions and millions of person days into all of the content that comes with S/4HANA Public. All of the business processes are documented and modeled in Signavio. There's no need for you to draw any of these processes. Take these processes from the SAP library, discuss them with your customer, derive the conclusions, but don't do 9-month prep projects. Go through the content, do it fast, implement as fast as you can. That is the agile way to work in 2024 and the years to come. Don't use the traditional waterfall model. You would not take advantage of all of the investment we've done in S4. One of the other misconceptions that Richard and I still hear is, well, it's public cloud, we can't adjust it. Let me tell you from a perspective of an old R3 developer. S/4HANA Public Cloud is at least as extensible as R3 or as ECC, but with a big advantage. Whatever you extend, whatever you customize, whenever you change a form, it will not cause any difficulties in the next upgrade cycle. So the clean core concept, and I don't have the time to discuss about it here in detail, is a massive advantage for you moving forward. So please extend S/4HANA Public Cloud. You can add your own fields, your own business objects. You can add application logic. We are offering all of the capabilities for the in-application extensibility on the stack, the side-by-side extensibility. So more than enough, but in a very secure way that you can upgrade whenever you need to do so. And all of that happens on SAP's business technology platform. Also there, if you want more information, you can look at my dedicated BTP video from last year. Our former boss, Oli Barner, who ran the SME organization for quite a number of years, now took over the SAP Build portfolio. So that would obviously help us a lot. And what we want our partners is really to focus on your critical differentiators. Build your own extensions. And we help you to focus on the core so that you can define what kind of business capabilities would you like to add to the system, build out the business logic, and so on and so on. We then help you to make it scale so that you can not only sell an extension once to a customer, but many times in a multi-tenancy way. And we help you to predict the cost of the application to you down to the penny. So before you write the first line of code, you will know exactly what this application will cost you for one customer, for 10 customers, for 100 customers, and for 1,000 customers. So talk to us about these capabilities. We then show you how to connect what you're building not only to Business One or Business ByDesign or S4, but you can build in a back-end agnostic way, even to non-SAP infrastructures. And last but not least, BTP provides you all of the services that you need, starting from audit logs to service brokers, cloud logging, forms, print management, single sign-on. I could go on for hours. So no need to develop any additional capabilities on the right side. Simply use the services that are available, and we are also helping you to pick the services which make the most sense. How do we do that? Intentionally, we've taken an open source approach. Knut Häusermann and his team have built the so-called reference applications. I demoed it already last year. So please go with this QR code. Provide this QR code to your development team and say, you know what? In the next 3 hours, you please clone this application and get it up and running into our BTP account. That's the first step. The second step is you tell the team, just add a few more fields to the application so they get their hands around how easy it is to work in a BTP environment, and we provide you with all of the tutorials that you need to have. So please provide that information to your development teams. And then you have an application which exists only once in BTP, but you can connect it to ByDesign, to S4HANA. We are also working on an example that we connect to S4HANA Private Cloud, to Business One, and as I said, you could also connect it to any third-party application. And I'm not only proposing this to you, my partners. We are doing the same thing within SAP, and as in the previous years, I'm really proud of what SAP brings to the table when it comes to sustainability, footprint management. We started off with the intent to have a lightweight CO2 calculation engine so that Business One, Business ByDesign customers would be able to disclose what is the carbon footprint of a specific shipment that they are doing to a customer. This really grew dramatically, and today we have an entire suite. You can see that you can manage your carbon footprint along all of the compliance. You can propagate your information on the carbon footprint and other resources along your supply chain. And we are moving forwards towards the green ledger. And I think we only have one planet, therefore this topic is really important, and I'm very happy that we are building it on BTP. This slide here from last year's video, I told you that we better all prepare for the era of the digital currencies. And I'm not talking about the speculation side of the house that many of you see in the news at the moment. Where will the Bitcoin price be here and there? The much more important thing for me are the so-called stable coins. And what you need to do if you want to pay or receive a payment with a digital currency. And keep in mind, at least in Europe, in 2027, we will have the digital euro. So once again, we develop on BTP the digital currency hub. I don't have the time to talk about the details, but in a minute you see the QR code. What it basically does for you is you can do payments with digital currencies, and you can receive payment with digital currencies, and do everything in a fully compliant way within the SAP solution environment. It starts with, yes, we are talking about digital currencies, but it is not yet another currency. It's a completely different mechanism. So take the advantage. Why should you use it? Simply, and I said it last year, traditionally, a money transfer from Europe to the US takes 5 days and costs you between 5 and 7% handling fee for the bank. With the digital currencies, you can do exactly the same thing with the digital currency hub. Within 10 minutes, at 1% of the cost. And for those of you who have international customers, please seriously look into this topic. One of the very large players who recently introduced their own US dollar stable coin is PayPal. PayPal is implementing S4HANA. Ernst & Young is doing it for them. And PayPal is using the digital currency hub to pay Ernst & Young. And what that means, you can imagine for yourself. So please have a look at the material that we are providing behind these QR codes and familiarize yourself, because at least in Europe, 2027 is just around the corner. That said, 2024, I'm really curious to see the final numbers for the year. But I'm pretty sure that this will be quite exciting. 2025 will be hopefully equally successful for all of us. We are in the middle of planning the summits. Some work remains to be done, so please follow Joost Tichelaar and our friends from marketing. They will inform you. The Americas and the EMEA summits are planned for March. APJ, I think they're still finalizing the locations, but we will have the summits also in 2025. And that said, many of you know that by the end of this year, more or less in 2 weeks, I will join SAP's early retirement program. But everything will continue. The tall guy in the middle, Jan Pacalek, takes over from me. I'm very grateful that Jan takes on that responsibility and will carry forward with all of our partners with a specific focus on building own intellectual properties with the partners, but also delivering out-of-the-box integration to well-known scenarios that we need to have. And I'm pretty sure you will work a lot with Joost Tichelaar, to my right here on the picture, with Klaus Grünewald, who heads up the indirect business, with Jonathan Rhodes, who does an amazing job in marketing S4, and that team will drive everything forward. So that said, a big thank you from my side to all of you for supporting me in the last decades. After 34 years, I'm checking out. I wish you all of the very best for 2025, and this amazing team here will help you. Thanks a lot, and talk to you then.